Hello, hello, hello. Anyone listening? Yes, my name is Udeme Etuk, and I'm preparing a course here, a special course for cloud migration, Oracle EBS cloud migration. Okay, so let me give you a little background. I have a background in telecommunication project management, and I've made the switch now from telecom project management to cloud migration. I always believe in cloud migration and in the cloud. And so I just want to document my journey learning about um, cloud migration and taking the lead in cloud migration, and particularly for Oracle EBS. I mean, so many people are moving from different on-prem solutions to different cloud solutions, but this training is particularly focused on moving from Oracle on-prem solution to Oracle cloud solution. And I just want to document my my journey for anyone who is interested in the future. And I know that having this recording or doing this particular session would help me improve my own understanding. Okay, so this is for anyone who is out there who has interest in project management or is a project manager and wants to switch to cloud. So it's a very big switch. And every time I go online to look for courses, I always see like really expensive courses that don't really solve my problem. And I decided to, teach myself this whole entire thing so that I can make that switch. So if you are in the Oracle industry, maybe you do Oracle Fusion and project management in any field, this course will really help you understand what cloud migration is all about, what end-to-end project management is all about, and it also tests your knowledge, um, so that you can see if you learned something new. So I divided this entire course into 5 sections. One of them is the foundational course, just to give you a background of what Oracle EBS solution is all about, what Oracle Cloud is all about, and what integration and migration is all about. And going forward, I have a project management course, a project course that gives you an overall understanding of end-to-end project management. After that, I have a work breakdown structure. This lists all the different activities involved. We go through all the activities involved in the cloud migration one by one. And then the fourth one goes hand in hand with the third one is the results. So we know this is the cloud migration course and we should do this and we should do that to migrate. But what are the actual results? What's going to look like? From a project management perspective, we know what it's going to look like from a technical perspective, so working software. But as a project manager, what do you want your results to look like? We're going to go through that. And then we also have a quiz section where we list out all the things a cloud migration project manager must know and then test ourselves, like give the answers, do quiz, and then test ourselves. So section 1 and 2, I'm hoping I can make it under 1 hour. I talk a lot. I hope I can make it under 1 hour. Section 3 and 4, honestly, I don't know how long that's going to be, because I myself, I want to go through each of the activities one after the other. And so it might take longer than it might take like 6 different parts, each of them 1 hour. And I want to go through section 3 and 4 together. So as we're going through the activities, we're looking at the results. So each of them, each it might take up to 6 hours in total. I don't know if anybody on the planet is going to have interest in going through that. Yeah, but um, because we're going through the life cycle phases, analyze and prepare, plan and build, configure, plan, configure, um, validate and test, and then execute, and then sustain and realize. So it's going to be a lot, but we have to start from somewhere. So we'll start from the foundation. So let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so the Oracle EBS suite is a comprehensive suite of integrated business applications from Oracle. It is designed to manage and automate various core business processes across different functional areas, such as financials, human resources, supply chain management, and customer relationship management. Essentially, it's an enterprise resource planning system that helps organizations streamline their operations and improve efficiency. So, Oracle ERP helps companies run these different areas of their businesses seamlessly, smoothly. Yeah, you see, it might seem like, oh, you want to run a business, you want to run a supply chain business, for example, you want to run a business and you have some supply chain job to do. It might seem like a no-brainer, like you just get some supply chain guys to move the stuff from one place to another. But there's a whole lot involved in the supply chain business. Like there's so many things that you need to do to move one thing to one place and to another. And there's so many different components involved in supply chain, so many different applications required. And each activity has like an activity flow. So just the approval of one document, the approval of okay, let's switch to HR for a minute. You have employees and they want to apply for vacation or they want to apply for travel or for work. There should be a process for approving travel. And you don't need to reinvent that process. You can just use Oracle e-business suite. Somebody will click, somebody has to submit this, somebody has to put this, somebody has to put that. And then from there, it has to move to this particular person to approve and that particular person to approve before it goes to payroll. And then from payroll, and the person is paid. And I see there's a whole lot involved in managing and running a business. And I began to understand this while working at a big company, seeing the number of things that happen from supplier management to sales and order management to manufacturing to fulfillment, inventory, reporting, customer relationship management, and finance. So much. So we're not going to cover each and every one of these because Oracle has merged a lot of functions together. But I couldn't find the image. This is the best image I could find. I mean, I pay a lot of attention to aesthetics, and this is the best image I could find. That's why I used it. So I'm going to provide a link to this document in the recording because some things might not be too visible. I put it at the biggest 200 here on this Google Doc. Oh, let me just confirm that this thing is recording. Don't want any stories. Um, manage recording. The call is being recorded. Okay. And pardon me for using Google Meet to do this. I mean, I just wanted the easiest option instead of going through a whole lot of stress. Yeah. So order management, look at the different things involved in order management. So order management is a comprehensive application designed to manage the entire order life cycle from initial customer order to final delivery and payment, order to cash. So it streamlines order capture, fulfillment, pricing, invoicing, enabling businesses to handle complex order flows efficiently. Okay, so you can see the different pieces of the puzzle in order management. So order management is a suite. That's why it's called a suite. It has so many different mini applications inside. And the reason why I'm highlighting that it has so many different mini applications in the middle is because it is very useful to know that you can, in the future, when we're talking about migration, you can utilize some of these features on the cloud and some on premise. So there are some that have advanced features for cloud solutions, and on premise you just don't have that yet, and it might just not be available on prem, or the process of updating is constantly because of the number of changes coming in the industry these days. It's just too stressful. You might just want to use the cloud solution for maybe for sales or for maybe for price protection, and then just keep your on-premise stuff for the rest, that kind of thing. That's why I'm highlighting that it has different components. So logistics is quite straightforward, optimizing flow of goods and services within an organization's supply chain. So you can see it has inventory, warehouse management. What the hell? Yeah, stay in the call. I'm still here. What was that supposed to mean? Yeah, so We have procurement. Procurement is designed to optimize your procurement process from sourcing to payments. So you have a centralized platform where you're managing various aspects of procurement. Also very important in your company. How do you handle procurement? Do you just say, please go and buy this thing from this person? If you want to run a successful organization, you must have a very good procurement software or procurement process. Projects, yes. They have a project management software for planning, tracking projects, you know, and they also have manufacturing for the entire manufacturing process. So if you are working if you have an industry where you're actually doing serious manufacturing, whether it's pharmaceuticals or anything, these are all the different, if you get these suites for manufacturing, these are all the different subsections you can get. Imagine shop floor management, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just get this suite of software. And asset lifecycle management, asset tracking, install base. Just calling me at this time. Sorry, I don't know who's calling me at this hour. Yeah, I'll call that person later. And service, Oracle Mobile Field Service is it's a solution that empowers field service technicians across to manage related related activities. So it's for field service technicians, people who have need for that. Then we have financials. Financials, this is a very important one. General ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash management. You cannot manage people's salary. We have a big company with maybe 20, 30 employees. You should not be managing their salary by hand or by Excel. You should have a proper financial software to handle your payments and loans, your ledgers and everything. Yeah, and HCM is another very important thing. Then payroll, human capital management is very important. So you can see all the different subsections of the application. Yeah, so I said, why is knowing the different app functions important? You say, while Oracle EBS Suite is a large integrated system, it can be broken down into smaller, more manageable components. Organizations can choose to move specific EBS models like core HR functions to HCM Cloud, while keeping other models like payroll and potentially absence management on EBS, especially with cloud integrations. This approach, known as coexistence, allows for gradual transition to the cloud and leverages the strength of both EBS and cloud solutions. And so another thing is that you might not need the entire suite. So this is all the things available, but you might not need every single thing. So when you're purchasing licenses, you might only need only need payroll, you might need compensation workbench, but you might not need advanced benefits, you might not need configuration workbench, you might need talent management and performance management, but not time and labor or succession planning. So this is just a full suite. You don't need to get licenses for everything. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of Oracle EBS, and you must know Oracle EBS solutions before you can even dream of calling yourself an Oracle Cloud Migration lead or project manager. So you must know these. Those are the first things you must know. Yeah, next we'll talk about Oracle Cloud. The job is cloud migration and project manager or lead, right? So you must know a little bit about um, the cloud. Yeah, so Oracle Cloud is a cloud computing service offered by Oracle Corporation, providing servers, storage, network, applications, and services through a global network of Oracle Corporation managed data centers. The company allows these services to be provisioned on demand over the internet. Oracle Cloud provides infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, and even data as a service. We're not going to data as a service at all. These services can be used to build, deploy, integrate, and extend applications in the cloud. OCI's next generation cloud platform is designed to run mission critical workloads for some of the world's largest enterprises. And Yes. So I'll stop there. So the cloud, I'm just going to give this little explanation because of anyone who doesn't really know what cloud is. So most people, when they hear cloud, they wonder what the cloud is. Cloud is just a massive or an aggregation of massive data centers built by these big corporations where all your data can be stored. So, like for me now, I don't have much data. My personal data is so little, but I can save it on my computer and I can save some on the cloud. Even right now on my phone, my photos are too heavy to save on my phone. I remember back when every time you have to upgrade your phone's memory, your phone storage, it'll tell you your storage is running low. You have to delete some photos. Well, now I never get those messages because all my photos are stored on the cloud. They're not stored on my phone. So, is cloud is centered around storage of your data, and cloud technology as a whole is built around that handling of data. So, where is your data stored? How is your data processed? And these companies have started to see that mighty corporations like Google and Microsoft are using our data, making sense of our data, and using that sense to create some very powerful tools like large language models like Gemini and ChatGPT, which they are using to, do a lot of things in the world. I don't even want to go into all those things. So Oracle are saying that you can having storing people's data give them more avenue to have influence over their businesses, have a say. Because at the end of the day, Google can roll out their own cloud-based um, payroll and supply chain software. And since everybody's business is already on the cloud, they will just adopt Google's payroll software. So they want as many businesses as possible to move their EBS to the cloud before they move it to Oracle Cloud, before they move it to Google Cloud and AWS. And then those guys develop their own software that challenges Oracle's own. And then people don't choose Oracle again. They switch from Oracle supply chain software to Google supply chain software because they are already on Google's system, and Google has made it so easy to just drag and drop that new software and adopt and convert all their data into that software. So easy. So Oracle has to step up and move people's businesses to the cloud. So the core infrastructure, this picture gives a good picture of what the cloud is all about. First of all, we're talking about the actual data center, the infrastructure. We're talking about, you can say the hardware. Let me talk about hardware. We have, of course, we will have physical data center like the land where the data center is, the gates, the security, and then the walls and the racks and everything. Well, infrastructure, we're talking about the hardware. Okay. And then on top of the hardware, we have databases. So apart from the physical hardware now, we have a database is like let's use a library as an analogy. The actual library room is like the infrastructure. The database are the racks on which books will be stored. And then the data is the books. They are the books, actual books where the information is. Artificial intelligence is the ability to understand the data. So they go hand in hand. Without the data, there's no AI. So the ability to make sense of data like humans can make sense of information in books is the AI. And then we have analytics and we have applications. And they also have developer services and we have governance and administration. We'll go deeper into everything, don't worry. So we have core infrastructure. On the core infrastructure that we spoke about just now is compute. So compute is like CPU. You have a computer, and remember back in the day we had a computer. We had computers. Then we have part of the computer. We have the CPU or the system unit, and then we have storage, which is like the floppy disk. Then in computer class, you have networking, which is like the cables that connect one computer to another or connects one part of the CPU to another. So the network is the blueprint for the connectivity between different units that can talk to each other. And these different units can be compute units, the ones that run actually run computing, like thinking like for a computer, and then they have the storage units that actually stores the data. So you had a computer back then in computer class, and you had your mouse, you had your keyboard, your monitor, the CPU, and your floppy disk and everything. A network is what connects everything together. So these are the core things that the infrastructure provides. Okay, so they have database services, they have data and AI services, data flow, data catalog. They also have analytics services. Analytics services, I eventually go into that. Governance and administration, security, cloud security. These days, everybody's trying to hack into your data. And like my computer now, I don't know who has access to my computer from anywhere in the world. I have downloaded so many apps and visited so many websites to stream maybe sports uh, illegally. And through those websites, people might be able to peek into my laptop and see stuff. But you don't need to deal with all that when you're on the cloud. I mean, these guys have the best security experts in the world. So they are the ones handling security, identity and access management, and developer services. Uh, for people who develop applications, they have platforms where you can go there and use different things to develop software. And then application services, they have different like ready-made applications that you can just use instead of making your own application. Just like the EBS suites, where you can download, you can get the license and use your procurement software and all that. So this one doesn't have to be your procurement software that you bought and you installed and you got the license. Just gets ready to use software. And the best example of this is before when you want to get your Excel and Word and PowerPoint, you download the application on your laptop and get the license. So the application is yours on your laptop. You have the license to use the application. But now you just click a link and then you use the ready-made software without any license or anything, web-based on either Google Docs, which is a much better solution, honestly. So that's the difference between cloud-based and on-premise. But I'm sure if you're listening to this, you might already have an idea of that. Yeah, so this is another clearer image of this will be so small on the recording, but down here we have the physical infrastructure. Down here we have the security, observability, and management. Then we have a native VMware. This lower level here. We have the infrastructure services. Here we have the platform. It's both infrastructure and platform, but these are the different services they offer. We'll go into them deeply. Don't worry yourself. And then we have some more there. So I'll just talk more about their SaaS offerings. So you can see that in their SaaS, they have e-business suite, JD Edwards. We only spoke about e-business suite because that's where our priority is. But look at, they have so many other different software suites that we'll not even go into at all in this course. But you can go and look at Oracle's different applications. But these are different suite of softwares that they have on their cloud. Yeah, so I don't know why I put this here, but I put it there. Yeah. Okay, so I put Oracle applications here. Yes, one of them is Oracle applications. Yeah, I'm just explaining every single box here. That's why I put that here. So we have the Oracle applications that are designed to be there. We have the custom applications and ISV applications. So custom applications are you have the ability for you to customize your own application, and then ISV application is ISV application. I will not go into that. I'll just skip that. And PaaS services. We have developer services. Look at the different developer services. So the reason why I put this here is because You might say, oh, Oracle has a lot of cloud services. But what are the cloud services they have? We've just looked at the software services they have, the e-business suite and all those other suite of ready-made software that you can just click and start using today and maybe pay as you use. But now they have developer services. For developers, like actual software developers, these are all the things they can go and use on the cloud. Before, you might have to buy and download your own software and get the license to be able to develop code. But now you don't need to buy that software. I, as a person, I can just go here, click this thing, and then start using to learn how to develop code. Because I don't know how to develop. I can go and start developing code. Honestly, I don't know what each and every one of these um, offerings, this application, these services can do, but I know that it's available there. Integration services. So integration is very important when you need to join two apps together or two different solutions together. And I'll use a good example for this. Like if you do ever do sales, you might use Salesloft, you might use Vector Salesforce, you might use different software in your sales process. How do they talk to each other? So you need integration services to make these things talk to each other. Sometimes you might have software and you might use a SaaS service like EBS SaaS, and then you might want it to talk to your on-premise database. So they have integration services that you can use to join, you can use to um you can use to they can use to communicate between you can use for your communication between two different software. My English is failing me right now. Yeah, so we also have analytics and BI. Um, analytics is you need to analyze a lot of data and to get intelligence from your data. So that's where analysis and business intelligence comes in. AI ML. I mean, AI ML is everybody knows what AI is these days. What human beings can do, you can get computer to do it. Before, your computer might just display pictures of dogs and cats for you to put it on a system and separate it yourself. But now, the computer can be able to tell which one is a dog, which one is a cat. Things that only humans could do before. And a computer can be able to detect a person, use like facial detection to know who this is and who that is. And so those are the AML services. You can see the AI services here: speech, language, vision, document understanding. You click and upload a document. The system understands the entire document and summarizes it for you. And vision, like I said, can easily you can just get a software here that can easily detect people's faces and cats are from dogs and this and that. We have language services for even for translate or anything. You have like when I say for translate, like Google Translates or something. I mean, but that sounds like bad English. This it's not my English is not that bad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You also have speech, which is speech recognition. You can see that if I put on captions now, this thing will be able to give captions and be able to give me like a summary of my transcripts. If I have a software in my office for whatever reason, I can just get that service from here without having to develop the entire thing myself. Okay. Data services, big data and data lake. If you handle a lot of data, you need to get data from here. If you're running a major bank in maybe Nigeria and you're having trouble handling all that massive amount of data, or you just want to start your bank and you don't know how to go about it, you can just go and get big data service from here and start running your business without having to develop it from scratch. And then compute. I don't know why I put this on that PaaS, but compute should be IaaS. But anyways, I'll sort that out later. Storage is definitely an infrastructure service. Containers and functions should be PaaS, platform service. I put it as IaaS. My bad. Networking service. Uh, you can read up on the rest of this thing. Like containers, when you want to develop software, you don't want to put everything in one box. You can divide the software into different containers. So that's what containerization is all about. Networking. Uh, already spoke about networking earlier. Databases, spoke about database. earlier. So these are other things you can get. Look at different kind of databases you can get. Each of them has different use cases depending on the kind of data you want to get, or depending on how much. I don't know. There are different reasons why you get different kinds of databases, and if you want to explore all of them, you can go there. And then you also have open source databases that are available here. So it's not Oracle's own, but other sources of databases and native VMware. I want to talk about that. Then we have security, observability and management, costs management and governance. It's all these things here. That's all these things here that you can utilize. So um, then the physical infrastructure that you can make use of. I think this is more useful to maybe like can see like governments might want to, instead of building their own massive data center, might just want to rent the hardware from Oracle and do every other thing themselves. So they have multi-cloud solutions, hybrid cloud, dedicated cloud. So if you want to use Google Gemini and some other things on Oracle software, you can do that. You can have a hybrid and multi-cloud solution. Yeah, so I just want to also explain the three-tier architecture, because this is very going to be important, not just now, but in the future. When it's time to understand, as we're going deeper, you need to understand the three-tier architecture. So on my journey to understanding what it meant to be to handle cloud migration, I needed to understand this. So every single thing we've just seen now, every single thing is operating on, in another dimension, is operating on three tiers. Both of them, both the cloud application and then the on-premise application. So we have the presentation tier. This is the front that you can see. The one we can see, like for the Google Meet now, the presentation tier is everything you can see on the screen here. The buttons you can click and well, everything you can see, the interface. Then we have the logic and web tier. This is the tier below the presentation tier. So it's the following are the main components of the logic tier: page processes. These are several. This provide the code upon triggering events. You click a button here, something is happening just at the background to make it happen. Have the application logic, so rules are implemented, like JavaScript. They allow the apps to operate as planned and enforce security measures and data integrity, and then authentication and authorization. Yeah, so many things are happening at the background that just below the. I'm not too technical, sorry, my explanation is never going to be satisfactory. But these are the things that are happening just below the surface here, maybe on my computer, that are making this thing possible. Somebody wants to join the meeting. They sent a message to my computer. How did that message get into my computer? I don't know. Something is happening just below this, and I click a button here. The person is admitted, and then wherever he is in the world, he can see. Yes, so that's the second tier behind that. Then we have the database tier. So I'll go back to the examples of actual Oracle solutions. So, like for maybe you there's a software for applying for vacation, and you just know that you have to click this button, click that button, and you can apply for vacation. However, there are rules implemented on that software that are behind. That's where we have the logic here that make it that govern it. I'll call the logic tier. Then we have the data tier, which is which store all the necessary information and is more of the backbone of the entire software. Yeah, so we'll discuss a little bit more shortly. I say that all the time. Someone told me not to be saying that. Yeah, well, yeah, we'll discuss it shortly. But honestly, I don't have the best explanation for database data tier, but I know that is the best. Like, it's the background, it's the backbone of the entire software. Is the these are the foundational elements of the entire application. So you can see database objects like tables, procedures, views, and functional defining behavior of an underlying database schema, SQL workshop. These are the three different major components of the database tier. But the definition is that it is responsible for handling data storage, manipulation, and retrieval. So every single application has data stored somewhere. And that's somewhere that the data is stored is the database tier. So on your HR system in the office where you want to apply for vacation, when you click this and click that and click that, you can see that you have only 3 vacation days left. The place where you got that information is the database tier. So some people want their database gone. Shouldn't use these Nigerian words. Some people want their actual database to remain might want the actual database to remain on their on-premise, on their own devices, not on your device, because of regulatory compliance. So if I'm a bank and I have information that, oh, this person's account has this money, and this person's account has that, and this person did this transaction that day, and I want all that information to remain here. Meanwhile, I might allow you to just govern what my app looks like on the surface. How beautiful is the app? How smooth is it? Okay, how smooth is it running? We can talk about the logical tier, or what rules govern the movement of the apps. And I want all that to be on your database, but I want the actual data to remain on mine. So you have to understand that every application has these 3 tiers. And there's a reason why they use these 3 tier. Not every application, Oracle's application. I don't know about every single application on the planet. Oracle's applications always have these 3 different tiers. And there's a reason why they do that, because of scalability. It helps them to if you have the database on Oracle Cloud and you have the rest on your own system or whatever, you can easily scale. So you can see all 3 tiers can be independently scaled to manage or increase demand or load. Maintainability, you can easily maintain one tier without effects. So you don't have to touch the database when you're working on the interface, which is good. I don't want anything to happen to my information database because I'm working on how beautiful. I want to change the color of one feature on my app. And then you can easily it's flexible to replace technologies without overhauling the whole system. So I might have my database set here and I want to say, okay, I don't want my app to have this. I don't want my app to be called this anymore. I want it to be called something else. And I change the entire thing with the same database there. That's good. Reusability, you can reuse elements of one logical tier without you can reuse elements of one logical tier. I won't dwell on that. So I want to tie these 3 different tiers to IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, because we'll keep talking about infrastructure services, platform services, and software services that we're getting. Just a quick reminder: infrastructure is the hardware services we're getting from Oracle. If we're going to get those Oracle services, the hardware of Oracle services, and then the platform services are the way when we want to build our own application and customize and make so many things happen, we'll do that on their different platforms. But when you want a ready-made software, you just get a ready-made software. So IaaS and SaaS are quite straightforward. IaaS and SaaS are quite straightforward, but PaaS is where there's complication. One last example: IaaS, for all my photos, my Google photos that were stored on my phone, I don't want them to be stored on my phone anymore. I move them to Google Cloud so that I can just save space on my phone. It's the same photos and every single thing is the same as it was on my phone. Because it's no longer stored on my phone, it's not stored on the cloud. That's IaaS. Like, I just want Oracle's IaaS services. The photos are still here somehow, but they're no longer stored on my phone. I don't know if that explanation makes sense. I'm just using it. Software as a service, I'm getting a ready-made software from them. Okay, so I have nothing on. It's just the software I'm using. And after I finish using software, I'm gone. Like every single thing is there. Like just like you are using a computer and then um you don't really have anything stored on the system. Every time you want to access any information, you need internet connection. You need to click on the internet connection. You need to access that file. But if your internet connection is gone, nothing is saved on your laptop. You know that you're using a pure SaaS solution. So let's look at client versus software as a service. So the client here, of course, as we explained, is the interface. And then now we know that software as a service is ready to use software. Similarities is that both of them they represent just the end users, the interface. So this is mainly concerned with end user interface. What can the end user see? So then the differences are when you're talking about the client tier. If you're on EBS, you're talking about you being responsible for managing that interface, especially if the client tier is on PaaS or IaaS. I don't want to make this too complicated or too boring. Well, I just want you to see that there's a similarity between the client tier, which is the interface you are seeing, and then SaaS. So if this client tier is on, if this client tier is a software that you've gotten from, I'll just leave this. I'll just leave it. I don't know how the best way to explain it, but both of them are similar. Then application tier is the application tier is the middleware. So you hear middleware a lot over the course of this our course. Well, middleware is the 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 part that makes things happen, where they have all the rules and everything. So to say the application tier now contains the EBS application code, Oracle Fusion middleware, and the operating system. So the entire operating system, of course, we know what an operating system is, like Apple and like Android and iOS. These are the operating system. So we can say the individual apps are the client tier. The operating system, like whether it's Android or iOS and all the things that govern all that, is the um, application tier. So you can see that this is on a deeper level. The application tier, the operating system, and then the last tier obviously will now be more or less the actual something closer to the hardware. But we are going to link these two together because they are closely interlinked. And most of the services that you would be working on and the application tier have to do with the platform as a service solution. So if you want to tweak anything on the application tier, you might have to go to Oracle PaaS solutions to get, okay, I think that's the best way to explain this. Yes. If you want to make any modifications on the application tier, you're not looking for Oracle IaaS solutions. You're not looking for Oracle SaaS solutions. You're looking for Oracle platform as a service solutions, the ones we listed above, to make upgrades on your application tier. Same here. If you're looking to make upgrades on just your client tier, what the client can see, you're looking for SaaS solutions. If that's your priority, I think that's the best way. Yes, that's the best way to explain it. Then, if you're looking for changes to make to the entire database, the way data is handled, the processing, to make sure that your app is not lagging. You're trying to make upgrades to that. You're not looking for maybe SaaS solutions. You're not looking for PaaS solutions. You're looking for IaaS solution, compute, storage. You're looking for network, entire network to be very smooth. So, yeah. So let's leave it at that. Now, looking for database, um, database, yes, changes and the rest, similarities, foundational compute and storage resources necessary. You're going looking in one direction, looking at IaaS services. We're running towards the end. Okay, now this is the last major section, but it's a long section. It's about migration and integration. So now we understand what the Oracle EBS suite is all about. We have an idea of all the solutions. We now have an idea of the cloud solutions, and also have an idea of the tiers, how each of these applications are broken down, how you can look at them from a 3D view now. That they have these three different tiers. Okay. And then the three different tiers, you must understand that you have the same three tiers on the EBS suites, which are more closely linked to like the client facing tier. You have the application tier, which is the middleware in between operating system, and then we have the database tier, which is more like the closer to the hardware or the foundation of the entire thing. And you can link that on the cloud end to SaaS solution, PaaS solution, and IaaS solution. If you want to make modifications on your client-facing tier, you might look for SaaS solution. You want to make modifications and changes and upgrades on the application tier, the operating system, and the rest, you might look for PaaS solutions. If you want to make more more foundational changes, I look for IaaS solutions. This is a very, very, very weakly linked explanation to merge those two together. But I just want you to understand that there are three tiers for the architecture in Oracle applications. So let's talk a little bit about migration and integration, because the job is actually cloud migration. You want to be a cloud migration lead. You need to know what it means to be, what migration is all about, and some key things are added here that will be very helpful. And you also need to know what integration is all about, because uh, migration is quite complicated. It's like moving from one place to another, and to actually carry the things from one place and take to the other place is one thing, and then to carry those things and arrange them properly in the new place, and to make them to make them make sense in that place, to communicate and to be useful in that place is another thing. That's a terrible that's a terrible analogy, but I just let that slide. Yeah, so at its core, EBS on Oracle Cloud means running your current Oracle EBS solution, EBS suite application on Oracle's cloud infrastructure. That's as IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS. IaaS and PaaS, okay. Specifically, this involves leveraging Oracle's cloud, compute cloud for your application tier and database cloud services for your database tier. Crucially, it's the same EBS own, customize, and integrate within your existing EBS license. This is just some ChatGPT things that I just put here. I didn't proofread it before adding it here, but it's just just some ChatGPT fillers. Sorry, Gemini. I use Gemini, not ChatGPT. Let me give credit where it's due. So key benefits. Let's go straight to the main thing. Let's talk about the benefits of moving to the cloud. Why would anybody ever want to move to the cloud? I mean, if you're a major bank in Canada, Scotia Bank, and everything is running fine, you have massive data centers that have already been established. You are enjoying life on your data centers. You have thousands of employees maintaining your data center, and you've spent millions of dollars or billions of dollars on hardware to store all your clients' data, and then some funny looking sales guy comes in and tells you about moving every single thing or moving to the cloud. I mean, you'll be like, why would I move to the cloud, right? So let me tell you why you might want to move to the cloud. Yeah, so for most businesses, the example I gave was just very, 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 very. I mean, let's look at a smaller company. Yeah, a smaller company. Yes, let's not think about massive Scotia Bank or anything. you're a middle range company, you're trying to, expand your business and, you're trying to add more users, more functionalities, expand into new countries, integrate through mergers and acquisitions. And you need like some increased demand, like increased capacity. I mean, you're not going to start building a new data center, ordering servers from maybe from China, and then they come in, you buy land, you install everything, everything that's involved in building the whole data center and all that. You don't want to do all that, and you also don't want to. You might want to grow in the future, but you don't want to spend too much money on building a massive data center that you might not need for the next 4 or 5 years. You might not need maybe 80% of that data center for the next maybe 4 or 5 years, like we did at on the on a cloud project, on a data center project I worked on. You built a massive data center, and I'm sure they're not even up to like 20% of that data center yet. And we did that like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. So imagine they're not. It's like a waste of money. That's too much capital expenditure. You might just want to, get move these new functionalities or this new country or integrate the next major company you're buying. Put that one on the cloud first. So cloud technology helps support business growth. Then you can also subscribe to surge capacity. So you might just subscribe for surges. You know that sometimes there might be surges in the business for some reason. People are now buying a lot more, and then you just want to have that surge capacity mm, without hiring new data center administrators and all that. You know, then also enhance business agility. Nowadays, everything is changing so quickly. Like every day, new innovations are coming out. Um, like for example, the other day, somebody tried to use my credit card to buy something online, and before that person would have bought that thing, and then they will start looking for ways to get the money back and take call back in 7 working days and this and that. But immediately that person clicked that button wherever he or she was in the world, because the person was in Vancouver, the transaction in a millisecond was blocked. Why? Because the location is different from where I am. And these are good security functionalities that people are adopting in their businesses. And if you don't have this functionality, you lose customers. Yeah, so my bank quickly blocked that transaction and called me, and then somebody called me in in like a minute to ask me, did I make where am I? I'm supposed to be all my transactions in the last 1 year I've been in Toronto, and did I just travel to Vancouver to make a $500 transaction? I said no. So you know that somebody stole my credit card information. So um you need to have these new features on your app. And if you are not using cloud solutions, it's a long thing for you to get that particular software feature and install it on your application and then start using it. I mean, I'll use this good example. When I was working with Huawei, we used to upload receipts for business trips. And then it would take some time before the manager would go look at the receipt, see whether it looks legitimate and this and that before confirming. But if you have new Vision software installed, once the person uploads it, within seconds, it has confirmed that this is a legit receipt. And I even use that on my app. And my bank is a good bank, Scotia Bank. I when I get a check, once I just capture the check and upload it within 1 minute or 30 seconds, the money is in my account automatically. It has verified it without any human being needing to go and check and confirm that this is actually a legitimate check. The Vision app has abilities within it to be able to capture it. So now using Scotiabank as an example, my bank. Imagine if they want to integrate that new feature. Maybe they don't have that feature yet, and TD Bank has gotten that new feature, and everybody's talking about it. They know that TD Bank is now getting some customers with this feature. It will be such a long process for them to put this new feature if they are not on the cloud, because the cloud feature. So they might want to, move that part of their business to the cloud so that they can get that feature. That's one way. Um, so you can that's business agility, and then low cost and risk. You're really reducing costs. Like imagine, like Lagos State government now, like that business that we that project that we did. They're doing a very nice thing. Like they want to start having traffic cameras on the road, which is very good. But the thing is, how much are you going to spend on the entire infrastructure? Like they had to dig their own fiber networks, their fiber cables around the entire state. There's already fiber in Lagos State too. It's not like there's no fiber. They had to build their own. They had to build their own data center. They had to they have to hire a lot of employees that will maintain that place, power, everything, just so that they can make use of traffic cameras. I mean, why not just install the traffic cameras? Somebody has already built the fiber, somebody already has a data center, connect to it, and then start paying as you go. So every month you pay so amount based on how many cameras you've used. And you don't need to break your neck on a major project like that. I mean, reduce risk also. So many errors. If you hire IT experts, you don't know how good they are. They'll make mistakes, but you know that Oracle, Google, Amazon, they have the best of the best engineers. They are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to maintain those things, and they keep learning from each other. So why not just use that? Use them. Then hardware refresh. I mean, sometimes you just need the hardware refresh. My phone, it works perfectly fine, but after a while, I'm just like, you know what? I just need a new phone. I just need something like the phone maybe it's beginning to look it's looking like it's rusty or something. Just need hardware refresh. And then operational improvements, patching, environment management, monitoring capabilities, improved operational efficiency. So these are avenues. We'll go a little bit. I keep saying this thing. We'll go a little bit deeper, but you see, we, we'll go a little bit deeper. I'll say for the last time, we'll go a little bit deeper into that later on. Last time, I promise. Yeah. So key technologies for cloud migration. I don't know how long this video is supposed to last. Maybe 1 hour. Let's see. Sorry, this meeting, Google Meet. Yeah, so key technologies for cloud migration. So these are some of the things that we'll need to eventually know about for cloud migration, because the migration has to take place through some certain software application that will be used to move data or configurations from one point to another. That's from your database to the cloud. So integrated SOA gateway and Oracle Integration Cloud. Those are two of the major. Let's see. AI. Pardon me, I'm not a professional trainer. I'm just me. So, pardon my. Okay, so those are the two foundational software for our foundational for EBS cloud migration. Why is this thing giving me this error message? No, I'm not correct that. Yeah, so this is the primary mechanism for exposing EBS functionalities as web services for cloud and mobile integration. REST services are generally recommended due to lightweight nature and ease of consumption. So they expose the EBS functionalities. Not sure what that means, but yeah. So it modernizes EBS integrations, allowing your on-premise EBS to communicate with the cloud services and other applications using standard protocols. So a set of protocols that allow for the communication, and then these are the things that you use as your as the backbone for your migration. Oracle Integration Cloud is a cloud. Oracle Integration Cloud is a strategic platform offering specifically designed offering. Sorry, English is failing me. Oracle Strategic Integration Platform as a service offering specifically designed for simplified SaaS and on-premise connectivity. It's a low-code, no-code platform for building integrations, orchestrating processes, and managing APIs. Okay, so that's what it is. Let's see what my throat a little. Yeah, so that's what it is. I won't go too deep into that. Then migration specific tools and strategies. Um, by moving the application, you need these tools to orchestrate the migration itself. Oracle Cloud Manager for EBS on OCI. Yeah, so Oracle Cloud Manager is another big tool that you need for migration. This is migration specific. It's not just an entire platform or rules or protocols. So this is a particular tool that you need to move, automates lifecycle management tasks, including when you want to provision a new environment. So when you want to actually do the migration, about to say, but I didn't say it. When you want to actually do the migration, you go to the Oracle Cloud and then provision a new environment. Where are you going? What where on earth are you going to go to provision the new environment that you want to move your on-premise environment from, on-premise data and the application from to? It's going to be Oracle Cloud Manager. You go to Oracle Cloud Manager and provision a new environment. When you want to clone the environment, clone what you have on premise to the cloud, is in Oracle Cloud Manager. OCM. That's the app for migrating, like lift and shift. Oracle Cloud Manager. So that's that. Um, it has its advantages. Okay, database migration tools. These are some tools used for database. Now, when it comes to database, and database, no gongo. When it comes to database migration, use Oracle Data Pump, Oracle Golden Gates. It's for high speed. This one for real time migration. It's on zero downtime. It has its own feature. So I think if you don't want anything to drop at all, you don't want any downtime at all, you need to use ZDM. If you want it for real time replication, as the things are happening, they are entering the new one. I don't know how I'm not sure how that one works. I don't use that one from my experience, but that's what Gemini told me for real time. And then for high speed logical imports, high speed data pump. It all depends on what you want. They have different services. So for large scale offering, if you want to do something that is very heavy, you use data pump. Just like Google Meet I used for this, I'm using for this recording. There's a reason why I'm using it. Maybe it's also light, it's also easy to use. You don't no need for too much story. Cloud based, this one I just used it. If I want very high quality recording that it's going to be very sharp, I'll use another one. If I want to record a video of 10 hours, if I want to do streaming, I can use another one, but for my own intent and purposes, this one works. So I'm using this. Um, these are the ones for security. Yeah, yeah. For DevOps and automation, these are tools to define that you use. These are the tools you use for the migration when it's time to do automation of tasks or trying to do DevOps and automation things. Yes. Then monitoring, management, and optimization. These are the tools you use, so you can just appreciate them and become familiar with them. There's no need explaining them when we're not seeing them in use. This is not a technical course where you actually see how these things work one on one and see every single part of the tool. Just to know that there are some tools that are for monitoring and management. And if you're ever asked, you're like, sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know that there are some tools like Oracle. I think there's one called Oracle OEM, and another one that's called APM, Cloud Observability. I mean, as the project manager, this is not your primary area of work. So you should have a foundational understanding of the technology's purpose and how it fits in the overall migration strategy. So just like I explained, if you want the one that is fast, I'll give you fast speed, the one that's high definition, one that's real time, like live streaming. I use these examples because it helps me remember. You know that there's an option out there for you to use, and you go and look for that option and use it when that time. So your job is to know what the customer wants, and then meet the technical guys, look at the options, look at the ones that work perfectly well, and then choose it. So you're the bridge between the customer and the technical guys. So the EBS Cloud Manager should have a foundation understanding of each technology's purpose and how to use it, be able to identify the right tool or service for the specific migration phases or requirements, effectively communicate with technical teams, like DBA, architect, network engineers, security specialists regarding their roles and dependencies, manage the risk and complexities associated with integrating these diverse technologies, and then ensure that your team have the necessary skill and experience to do this job. Okay, so that's that about that. I'll move to the next one. So, reasoning to migrate from EBS to Prem. So this is just apologies. AI. Apologies. Like 4 a.m. here right now. I just woke up to do this. Yeah. So this is an AI generated chart that I just showed. I mean, if you want to migrate for SaaS to SaaS, these are some of the reasons that will make you push you to migrate for a SaaS solution. And I put this here because you might be having a conversation with the clients, maybe in the pre-sales phase of the projects, and they're trying to understand which solution works best for the clients. And you're hearing the client saying that, okay, I'm looking for operational efficiency improvement, they're looking for enhanced flexibility, they're looking for overall cost reduction. That's what the guy keeps talking about, the person keeps talking about, you know, talking about acceleration of digital transformation, it sounds like he's looking for a SaaS solution. That's what you're gaining from the conversation. And then when they talk about I'm avoiding hardware refresh, you know, higher availability, there's all these things they'll be listing, and you know that this person might be looking for a PaaS solution. He doesn't want to completely overhaul his software that he's using, but he's trying to make some serious upgrades on the software, and he doesn't want it on his hardware anymore. So he doesn't want it on hardware that was established. That is, you're moving it to Oracle Cloud, but he doesn't want your exact software that you have already. He wants his software on your cloud with modifications, heavy modifications on what he has right now and from what you have. So for a PaaS solution, then when it's hardware refresh, clear cuts, and improvements in operational, almost all these things are almost all these things are very similar, honestly. But you can see the elimination of on-premise and end-of-life concerns, and having all this conversation, they're looking for an IaaS solution. This might not be the best. Honestly, I didn't read through this. I just generated it. It looks beautiful. It looked nice. It looked self-explanatory, and I downloaded it. It's not that I'm reading it for the first time. Apologies. Like I said, I'm not a professional trainer. So now these are some of the components that are only I got this specifically so that I can understand. These are some of the components that are only on the cloud. Like you are using Oracle EBS for your order management, and you're like, why should I move to the cloud? Like I have everything I need here. I'm not scaling up. My business is running fine. I'm not looking for new customers. Why should I move to the cloud? So there's some features that are only on the cloud that might be useful to them. I see that these are the strategic price management. You can see mobile apps for their employees, specified products and configuration. Yeah, so these are some of those things, warehouse management, cloud, landed costs. So you might need to refer to, I'll put a link to this document in the video. So you might just need to refer to this later on in the future to see which one you can remember. Some procurement for projects, you can see there are so many pictures. I listed them here so you don't have to search for them anywhere. Will just come to my document. But service for financials, for almost all the applications, Oracle applications, put them there. So next, I'm going to talk about integration and migration. I think that's what I was talking about earlier. Integration and migration. Okay. Oh, before I said cloud migration and integration. Now I'm talking about integration and migration. So now I just want to give another explanation about integration. See in the call, please. Yeah. So just going back, circling back to why we started this whole section. So this image is everywhere on the internet. Like you see this every time, and it helps to understand your responsibility. So your responsibility when you're using your regular on-premise solution, this is it. You're responsible for every single thing. When you move your entire thing to the entire application to Oracle database, Oracle's hardware now, or your application is exactly the same as it was. It's just no longer on your servers. You are no longer managing the virtualization, servers, storage, network. You're managing the operating system, middleware, runtime, data, the application itself. Later on, when you use a PaaS solution, you're not handling all these other things. You're now handling the application and the data. But for SaaS solution, you're not handling anything. You're just using the interface, the user interface that you can click and touch. That's all you are doing. You are not even the application upgrade, keeping the application up, managing the data that comes in, how is data stored, nothing concerns you. All that concerns you is what you can see in front of you. And many people prefer that. I might prefer that. I don't know. But now let's talk about migration. Let's just talk about migration now. We've spoken about so many things, but we've not actually spoken about migration. So if your so now migration is process of moving application to data, IT workloads from one environment to another, typically from on-premise data center to cloud environments or between different cloud providers. Now, if you are talking about moving your entire application as it is, you are running your GT Bank. GT Bank is a Nigerian bank for my international listeners out there. You want to move your entire GT Bank application from your data center in VI to Oracle Cloud because of power issues that you're facing. But you absolutely do not want any changes to anything whatsoever. You can just use either of these. That's IaaS. Lifts and shifts. Everything is just moving from your your database to another data center. There's nothing else that person is concerned with apart from hosting your app and all the data it comes with and the databases and everything. So we have an idea of the things you can use, the tools you can use to do this migration. I mean, you can just go to Oracle Cloud. What's that? Cloud. What's the? Hey, I have to go. I have to know that one. That's a very important one. You can just go to Oracle Cloud Manager. Easiest thing to remember. I know this Oracle Cloud Manager, provision a new environment, use some of these tools. You know what you want to migrate. You just clone it. I just clone it. I'm not going into the exact steps now on the migration, but clone it, you move this one, move that one, do that, do those things, and you rehost it as is without any architectural changes. Rehost, replatform. Now you're talking about making minor optimizations to leverage cloud capabilities without any re-architecting. Minor optimizations, you're talking about replatforming it. I mean, just English you're changing here. But as far as you're making some minor applications, you're now talking about a replatforming process. You're not putting in a different category. So just maybe some minor changes to the networking profile just to optimize it for a new hardware. Then refactor or re-architect, significantly modifying the application's architecture to fully utilize cloud native features for improved agility, performance, and scalability. So you are re-architecting is, for example, you know that I told you that the app has three-tier architecture. The one that you can see, the middle, and then that's the application tier, the middle space, and then the backbone and the foundation. So your application might not be like that. Your application might not be one whole thing. If you want to re-architect the solution, then you are breaking it down into these three different places so that you can later on add some IaaS features without tweaking the database and this and that. So that's when you will now be talking about re-architecting. So I'm talking about this because you need to know about this. If you're a cloud migration project manager, you're a lead, you need to know about this now. So what you need to know, this person is looking for an IaaS solution, no doubt. But you have looked at this architecture and you see that it doesn't even match with Oracle's architecture. You can tell him, see, I understand that you just want to move everything, but you should consider at this point in time that you're moving, re-architecting it so that in the future you might just use some SaaS services, some AI services without touching your database. It's wiser to do that. You might explain to him, but it might not be necessary. You might have that 3-tier architecture already. You might tell him, okay, see, I know that you have this 3-tier architecture, but your database, the way you're setting your database is not it's not the best way, it's not the most optimized way. Let's just make some minor optimizations to the way your database is ordered so that you can further process data in a better way. And you might agree, you are replatforming it. It's just English, really, but you understand the logic behind the whole thing. You just want to categorize it. But this is IaaS matters now we're talking about. So those are the things that you can consider. Now, with platform as a service, it's quite similar. Now, let's look at the definition. PaaS migration centers on moving applications to a managed platform where the cloud provider handles the underlying infrastructure, operating system, and middleware. This allows developers to concentrate on app development. So, going back to this picture here, you can see that there are three things that are different between IaaS and PaaS: runtime, middleware, and operating system. The actual operating system, you don't want to, most people don't want to manage that. That's just the truth. If I'm moving my data from my Windows laptop to my Apple laptop, I don't want to move the data really and maybe manage my data and manage some of the applications I have on my system, my Excel, my Word. I don't want to set up the operating system to match with mine or do this or that. Moving from Android to iPhone, I want to move my photos. I want to move my most important applications, Facebook, Twitter, X rather, and Instagram. Of course, Instagram. Why would I mention Facebook before Instagram? So I just want to move my important things there, my applications, and then re-download those applications quickly and put my information quickly. I don't want to start setting up the operating system of iOS and the runtime and the middleware. Some people want to, but if you don't want to, if you're like me and you don't want to, then you allow them to do all those things. But it's still the same logic of, are you migrating with minimal changes? Your maybe your apps are your and everything are already containerized on your bank app, on your GT bank app. They're already containerized. So when you're talking about um what are the different sections on the app? You're talking about bank accounts and that place you're talking about uh, downloading downloading of downloading of what do they call this thing again? Bank statements. And after you're talking about different parts of the app. You open the app. All of them, are they different in different containers? Can they be managed independently or are they all junked together? If they are already managed independently, you can just move them with minimal changes. But if you want to take advantage of many past features and this and that, you might want to re-architect the whole thing. And then somewhere in between, if you just want to change the databases and queues and this and that, re-platforming. So there's a way to categorize all these things. So as you're having the conversations with the clients, you're understanding where they are, where they want to go, what they currently have, these are the things that you need to have at the back of your mind. That's why this is a foundational course. If you don't have this at the back of your mind, the conversation you're having with them will be a useless conversation. It's like what you're saying is not really, you're not going anywhere with this conversation. But if you ask the right questions, if you have this at the back of your mind, And then for SaaS strategies are mainly like a pure like data migration. Like if you are using Oracle on premise and you want to move to Oracle Fusion, Oracle SaaS solution, you are leaving behind the entire software, the hardware, and everything. All you're carrying is just your data. All you're carrying is just your data. All the basic information, the most basic information, and you're now putting it on the new. You're now using the Oracle SaaS software. So for example, I'll be doing my maintenance on my I'll be doing my maintenance on my factory with my own software. Every time I want to do corrective maintenance, preventive maintenance, and all that, I've been doing it on my SaaS software. On my software, my EBS software that I have in my office. Oracle has no idea what I'm even doing there, and it's just for me, and it's my server there in the office and all that. And I want to make use of Oracle's software, the one that I go to oracle.com and I log in and I see Oracle's software. It's a different software now. This is an upgraded software. It might be very similar to what I have, but it might have AI embedded in it and all those. And I want to make use of it. Of course, I want to make use of that. So I might not want to migrate my application to Oracle Cloud and all that. I just want to use that one. That's all. So what I need to do is just maybe get the blueprint of my factory, put the dates where I need to do my maintenance, put all the employees in the system, do the identity access management, who has access to this, who has access to that, put the schedule of the maintenance. I think I just mentioned that. And then I start using that one now. I tell everybody, okay, see, from now, if you want for our maintenance, we're using this particular application, delete the other one and start using this one. So migrating from that to a SaaS solution is very straightforward. This is what many people do actually. Just migrate to the SaaS solution. And then sometimes you might want to do a phased rollout. Um, okay, I shouldn't have put it this way. But yes, a phased rollout is when you don't want to migrate the whole thing. You do one by one. The applications I mentioned, applications have different components earlier. So you might just want to do, okay, now I'm doing my payroll. Later on, I'll do that for finance app or HR system. Okay, now let's talk about HR, human resource, and the rest too. Might talk about, okay, moving all my employee data to this new application, vacation approval and all those things, moving in. The final talk about moving payroll. So you might want to do a phased approach. But another thing I would have loved to add here is, let me add it now, is extension. No explanation required. At least, yeah, but it's like I know a little bit more than this AI. Yeah, so extension is when you want to use some AI features, some SaaS, some cloud features, but you don't want to migrate. You just want to use, okay, now they have document vision so that your employees can upload their hotel receipts from their vacation. And you don't need anybody to go and look at it and confirm that it's legitimate before you approve. You just need one AI tool that can look at it. But you don't have that AI tool on your software in your office. But Oracle has it. So how do you use that service? So that's not exactly migration. Maybe that's why AI didn't put it here. That's no longer migration. That's now integration. So I'll delete it. I'll just leave it there for now. But you're listening, so you know. And once you download this file, you would remember this thing. I'll put it in a different color here so that you remember. Then now let's talk about integration. So integration refers to connecting. I think this is the last part of this thing. So fear not, we're almost at the end. Yeah, integration talks about connecting different applications, and you can integrate. Let's see. You can integrate different components of your applications with databases. Um, there are different ways you can integrate different. This I don't want to spend too much time here. Then you can also integrate different PaaS solutions with the ones you have on your on premise. There are ways to do that, and there are reasons for doing that. But this part of the document is just letting you know that there are built-in services, making it easier to integrate with different platform services. And then just like you want to integrate Google Maps into your solution. There's a tool. There are tools that you use for the integration. I'll keep them working in sync. Just like how Uber has its own map in sync. Uber did not design a map by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't create a new map software. They just integrated Google Maps into their software. So there's an integration tool that you can, the integration tools that you can use to integrate different softwares with your own um, hardware. So I won't go deep into that. So now talking about integration, you can combine your on-prem solution with SaaS. Just like I just explained now, you have an app. You want Vision tool. You can just integrate Vision tool into your app. So look at the different integration styles. So there are different reasons why you might want to do integration, or that drive their integration styles suited for business needs. So it was explained in one video I watched. I just put the summary here. Native integration involves direct use of EBS systems. I can't go deep into that. Data-centric integration. This one is focused on integrating data together. This other one is focused on integrating. There is focused on real-time integrative integration. So, sorry, event-driven rather. Whenever there's an event, you want. Sorry, this enables real-time response event by triggering actions based on business events, changes to object states within DBS. This embedded business integration system. Okay, so this integration is different because you might only want two applications to work together when there's a new event, like somebody makes a change. You want both of them to talk together. You don't want them to talk together all the time, you know. So that's one way you can look at integration. Process-centric integration. This one is when you want to integrate two different workflows together. You might look at integrating it with the idea of integrating different workflows. And then, okay, the first one was here talking about like just a natural integration between two apps because of their customizations and extensions. Yeah, so and then business to business integration. You might want to integrate your payroll app, your HR app to your accounting app, and you can look at integrating them together from that perspective. And then this last one is I don't know what this last one is. I'm not even look at it. So look at different scenarios for extending Oracle EBS suites. So these are just different scenarios that they could bring out. You know, you need advanced financial planning and budgeting. You get the cloud service of advanced financial planning and budgeting that you do not have on your EBS, but you integrate it to your EBS general ledger that you are okay with. You don't want to move that one. So there's a way you can integrate those two together. That's the way of just combining both together. And the reason why we're looking at all these options is because you are having a conversation with the client as a migration lead, and you want to know all the different options available. Like you want to be able to have an educated conversation and guide this person on different ways in which you can get him or her to come to the cloud. Because at the end of the day, you are trying to convince this person that, okay, see, I know you are reluctant or it's not something you are looking forward to, but because of this planning and budgeting service, you can integrate it to this one. It's like a permutation for ways in which you can use cloud and on-premise. So now you have in-memory costs. These are all the services. These are cloud services. All these are cloud services. Only cloud only. Revenue management cloud service, Oracle Expense cloud service. They are not available on on-premise. Now you're trying to tell them, okay, I want you to use this project portfolio management cloud. You don't have it on your on-premise solution, but you can use that one and then add it to your costing and project billing. That is ideal, is perfect on your EBS. Let's do that. And I went up before. We are saying that there are different ways you can look at the integration. Are you looking at the processes? Are you looking at the events? Are you looking at data? Integrating data. That's another way to look at it. So each of these now, you can either look at it as more of a data-centric integration or an event-centric integration or a or a process-centric integration. Yeah, so if you go through the documents, you can look at them. These are all the different cloud solutions and how you can integrate it with your EBS. I won't go deep into it. Now, this is a total transformation I spoke about earlier. When you want to migrate, now we're talking about migration. This is no longer integration. But when you want to migrate from your entire on-premise solution to a cloud solution, you can either migrate it by pillar. That's the different functional areas. Different functional areas. Um, Remember, I mentioned at the beginning of this, I mentioned that each of these applications has different units. So you can different sub apps, or each of these suites, the HR suite and the supply chain suite has different sub applications. You can migrate. Okay, now by pillar means that you can migrate the whole suite. That's what the pillar is. Now you can migrate product line or business unit. You can migrate just one product line. Okay, so if you have a big company um, that has that's producing maybe different kinds of products. Maybe you have a company that's producing phones, producing um, laptops, producing tabs. We also migrate the entire tab department first as one business unit or product line. You might want to migrate by country. You have a company that is in different countries. Migrate to one country. You want to adopt SaaS for a new business, so you just bought a new company and you want to migrate that new company first. Um, Migrate corporate shared services like corporate HR. Then you can do a full year IRP migration if you want. Then for the third one here, we have this is IaaS and PaaS. This is the lift and shift I was speaking about earlier. You don't want to use their own Oracle's application. You want to continue using your application, but now on Oracle's data center, you want to get rid of. You have power issues in the country, and you're tired of buying gas. You want to get rid of your data center. Uh, so these are the benefits. I don't know why I put the benefits again, but I put it here there. Then there are different deployment choices. You can put everything on one single node, which is not something that is used in practicality, something that is used for training purposes. Uh, the more realistic thing is to put it on different nodes. I mean, your application tier will be on compute, database also on compute, multiple nodes on IaaS. Okay. Yeah, so you have different virtual machines on the infrastructure, but you put it on different virtual machines and then you put them on, you put the multiple nodes on IaaS. I don't know if I got that right, but I have to look into this a little more. And you can use an IaaS and PaaS solution. So you might want your exact application and everything on, like your GT Bank example now. You might want the entire application exactly as is on compute. So you manage your operating system, manage everything yourself. But the database, how data is collected and stored, and like the library of data, you want it on PaaS because you want Oracle's exact database service is the best database service in the world. I don't know if it is, but I'm just like, for example, you say that's the best database service in the world, and you cannot continue with your own database service. You can move your database service to that and have a better experience. So there are different ways you can use IaaS and PaaS, but IaaS and PaaS, we're mixing them together, bundling them together because they go deeper into the roots. Unlike the other one where we're talking about moving, then changing, abandoning your entire software and everything, leaving everything behind and using this new one, and then extending your software, just getting some features, which is where integration really comes in. Extension, yeah, comes in. So you're talking about extending your software. Now, this one you're talking about migrating, like lifting your entire software, you're abandoning your only the hardware and coming. So it now depends on what you want to use. It will not depend on whether it's an IaaS or PaaS solution. So automation tools, EBS Cloud Manager, you can use automation tools for provisioning, hence for lift and shift and lifecycle management. It's been a minute, so this video is so long. I thought it was going to be 1 hour, but this is way longer than 1 hour. Yeah, so EBS on OCI lift and shift approach. We'll just skip this. Just skip this. We spoke about this earlier. Single node on IaaS, multiple node on IaaS plus PaaS. This is most common and recommended full-scale deployment production for production environments. The application tier runs on compute while the database leverages and database as a service offering. And so this one multiple nodes on IaaS. The application tier and database tier both run on separate virtual machines on compute. Yeah, so here is your database you're using, and it is your application you're using. And then it's also your user interface you're using, but they're not talking about the interface now, I'm talking about the other two tiers. Remember, we spoke about the 3 tiers. That's why we spoke about the 3 tiers. So you're not talking about the interface level now, that's basic. The database tier and the I remember we connected them, the client tier, the application tier and database tier to SaaS, PaaS and IaaS. So now we're talking about application, the middle tier and the database tier, the foundation. I say that you want both of them running on Oracle's infrastructure. That's fine. That's that's fine. But you're not utilizing the best database services out there, which is the Oracle database as a service. You're not utilizing it as the exact database or base database service. Uh, but it's also okay. You see. And then the first one is just it's not really typically for production. It's just when you want to explore new functionalities, you just move everything to one node. You should not put your database and your application on the same virtual machine on the same node. In case of, I don't know why, I think it's most likely in case of any issues. At least your database is safe or your application is safe. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So Oracle EBS Manager, I just wrote about this earlier. So I just read about it twice. Okay, I'll leave it there for now. Don't waste too much time. So this is just, I just added some tables here just for some explanation. about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. This particular explanation is not too useful. Then I just listed IaaS, Oracle's IaaS and PaaS offerings. Look at the Oracle's IaaS offerings. And look at the PaaS here. And see, these are different things you can use. We've listed these things out before. But for some reason, I listed them out again because I wasn't too sure initially which one was IaaS, which one was PaaS. Remember, I mentioned in the beginning that I mislabeled compute as PaaS earlier, but compute is definitely IaaS. You can see now, you can see compute here. OCI is under IaaS, but they also have some compute services for PaaS. So this clarifies that. So you can go through it and look at the different offerings that Oracle has for networking. Almost all the networking services are infrastructure, storage to infrastructure, compute mostly. I used to think it was infrastructure, but I'm saying that I also have a platform, PaaS, and most of the database services and integration services are mostly as IaaS. I say as the battery is low. Okay, so um so now Oracle's 3-tier architecture and the services, the SaaS services. So on the client tier, they have mainly SaaS services, but they don't have any IaaS services for clients here. You can see they also have some PaaS services. They have some on the application tier. You can see that there's no SaaS service. I'll have to end this video in less than 3-4 minutes because of my battery. Let me see. I just extend it here. Sorry for this whole. Yeah, got in. Yeah, so on the application tier we have services. So this is just basically the same thing, just regurgitated, just so you can see very clearly from a different perspective, like a summary perspective. If you have the file, you can go through it. And then I also wanted to mention something about the dev, test, and production environments in cloud migration. So the primary purpose of the development environment is new features and customizations and integrations are initially coded, debugged, and tested. This is when you're just starting the job, you're just preparing the application. So that's the reason for the dev environments. You have a test environment for comprehensive testing, functionality integration, performance, security, UAT, validate software quality. So you validate everything and be sure that you're ready to use this application. And then have the production environment where live operational environment accessed by end users. So this is the final environment. And with that, we come to an end of the very, 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 very basic foundational things that you absolutely must know if you ever dream of becoming a cloud implementation project manager. If you ever want to lead a cloud migration project, you must know all these basic things. You must know a little bit about the Oracle products, Oracle e-business suite. You must know about Oracle Cloud, what Oracle Cloud is all about, and the different benefits of Oracle Cloud. I have an idea of what it means to migration and integration. What does those two terms really mean? And then you're looking at different ways in which you can think about it, about migration and integration, so that you're having educated conversations with clients and with your project team. You know what you're talking about when you're talking about extending, we're talking about full transformation, we're talking about lift and shift, we're talking about IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, talking about dev, test, production environment, we're talking about the application, the client tier, application tier, and the database tier. All these things begin to make sense. So you can do more rigging on this, but as far as being a cloud migration project manager is as far as that job is concerned, you must know these things. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was longer than I imagined. But the next one is projects. I always get excited when I talk about projects and project management. So it might be even longer, but it's very comprehensive. It teaches you end-to-end project management. The project manager's logic, you will have it after watching that course. Absolutely imperative for anybody, even if you're not talking about cloud migration, you're talking about just being a project manager. You must watch that course and you definitely understand project management after you watch it. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. I'll put us recording.